LAFCO meeting, May 9th, 2019.
Yes, push that button next to the mic. Next to the mic.
Next to the which? You know this system?
There you go.
Okay, oh, great. We'll call the meeting to order. Thursday, May 9th, the Alameda County Local Agency Formation Commission. First thing is pledge of allegiance. Who wants to join us?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call.
Commissioner Wieskamp,
Here.
Commissioner Haggerty, Commissioner Marchand,
Here.
Commissioner Spondorio, Commissioner Thorne,
Here.
Commissioner Miley, Commissioner Johnson,
Here.
Commissioner Halbert, Commissioner Valle, Commissioner Bonheater Leopold,
Here.
Commissioner Pico,
Here.
The next item is the new recycled, whatever, commissioners. And who wants to give this report?
So the commission will acknowledge the reappointment of regular commissioner Scott Haggerty by the County Board of Supervisors on April 23rd, and of alternate commissioner David Halbert by the Alameda County Mayor's Conference on April 10th, and lastly by Commissioner Ann Wieskamp by the Independent Special District Selection Committee that was held on May 8th. So congratulations to the reappointed commissioners.
Well, I'm sure we're all pleased to be reelected. If you're into LAFCO, you're into LAFCO, even if a lot of people don't know what we do. The next item is public comment. Anyone from the audience is welcome to speak to the commission on any matter not listed on the agenda within our jurisdiction. We can't act on these matters, and you are limited to 3 minutes. Is there anybody who has indicated they wish to speak? Silence and no nod from the clerk. All right, the approval of the meeting minutes, March 14th, regular meeting. Anyone have any changes? Anyone like to make a motion to accept?
I'll move approval.
Second?
Second.
Motion made, second, discussion. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item will be the budget update for 2018-2019 and the year-end projections.
Thank you, Chair. This item is for the commission to receive an update comparison of budgeted to actual expenses and revenues through the month of April. The commission's adopted operating expenses for the current fiscal year is $796,843. Actual expenses processed through the first 10 months total $442,190 and suggests the commission is on pace to finish the year, with $643,670 in total expenses and end with an operating surplus of $157,951. The commission's total fund balance as of July 1st, 2018 was $595,796, and this report is for the commission to accept and file.
Okay, any discussion on this item? Interest in accepting and filing or any discussion? Okay, motion made, second, discussion?
So I'll go back to the question that I had the last time we met.
Okay.
So if we approve this, any new positions or such are just deemed can be done, correct?
This is not the proposed budget, or the final budget and work plan. This is just a budget update on the current fiscal year.
Oh, you're right.
Right.
Got it.
That's
You're
exactly
right. I was totally gone.
That's okay.
We all space once in a while.
Well, I
That's
think
fine.
you face lots of different meetings, so we certainly understand that.
Right.
Okay, motion made, second. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
I'm sorry, could you repeat who made the motion and seconded it?
The next item is, yes,
Excuse me, Chair, can you repeat who made the motion and the second, please?
okay, I think,
Motion, I second.
yes.
Yeah. Commissioner Johnson made the motion, and I
Okay.
second the motion.
Thank you.
Everything's happening on the left. Whatever that means. Okay, the next item is the proposed out-of-area service agreement 27440 and 27489 Fairview Avenue to the city of Hayward.
The proposal before the commission was submitted by the city of Hayward seeking approval to extend public wastewater services outside of its jurisdictional boundary to two affected lots located on 27440 and 27489 Fairview Avenue in the Castle Homes area of the unincorporated community of Fairview. The primary purpose for the city to request this out-of-service area agreement out-of-area service agreement for the two properties in question is to facilitate the extension of public wastewater services in step with removing failed septic systems on each lot, with the potential of creating a public health and safety hazard. A sewer main extension approximately 300 feet is required and will be paid for by the landowners of the affected territories. Additionally, the proposed out-of-area service agreement is closely in line with the on-site wastewater treatment system permit instructions that advises applicants of the code requirement for connection to public sanitary sewer where the property is within 200 feet of available sewer, so 100 feet off. The affected territories as proposed is planned for single-family residential with limited agricultural use by the County of Alameda. Its zoning designation is classified as R1LBE, which allows for a 5-acre minimum building site area and highlights the properties cannot be further subdivided. Now, secondary units may be developed only through rezoning to a planned development district that would require a county permit. Now, under Government Code Section 56133, LAFCO may authorize out-of-service area agreements only if the proposal to extend services to the affected territory is 1, outside of the jurisdictional boundary but within the sphere of influence, or 2, outside the jurisdictional boundary and sphere of influence but is in response to an existing documented threat to public health and safety. The affected territories are both within the sphere of the city of Hayward and the County of Alameda's Department of Environmental Health Services has provided a letter noticing the potential threat to public health and safety. And that can be found, I believe, in attachment 3 of the staff report. So staff finds that the local conditions sufficiently justify an out-of-area service agreement as the most responsive means to provide wastewater services to the affected territories, and also conditions approval of the proposed out-of-service area agreement with the signing of both properties to a pre-annexation agreement with Alameda LAFCO. Lastly, staff has determined the proposal is a project under CEQA with Alameda LAFCO serving as the lead agency, but it is exempt from further review under CEQA guidelines 1503D, given that the subject territories can only support one single-family residence on each parcel. And with that, staff recommends for the commission to adopt the draft resolution approving the out-of-area service agreement of 27440 and 27489 Fairview Avenue with the city of Newark. And I will return the item to the chair for discussion and any questions from the commission.
Thank you. Okay, anybody have any discussion items, questions, concerns? The other number agencies that represent this area, have they been notified of this change?
Yes, they have been notified, and while Oraloma Sanitary District usually would be the viable service provider in that area, the city of Hayward is actually closer to provide and extend the sewer main.
And did somebody bring it up, a question from the Fairview Fire District? Somebody seemed to have a comment yesterday, I thought I heard that.
I think it had to do an area within the district that a lot of those districts are on, or a lot of those properties are on septic and may be failing, so I think.
Others may be coming in.
Yes.
Some. Okay, we may see more. All right.
Just as a,
Yes.
just
as a general comment, at some point in the future, it'd be nice to see a map showing how many of these properties in the Fairview Avenue, Upper Fairview Avenue, have been converted over to city services that are still in the county. At some point, we probably want to be looking at annexation of all this.
Sure. Thanks, it will make sense. Sure. All right. Did I have a motion? Okay,
I'll second.
all right. Further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. All right, the next item. Nomination and election of chair and vice chair.
Excuse me, Chair, I believe the next item is the proposed annexation
Oh, I
of
skipped it,
Bayside.
sorry. I'm moving the meeting along, you have to admit that. Okay, let's go ahead then for the next item. Which is the proposed annexation of the Bayside Newark project to the Union Sanitary District. This is a public hearing. The commission will consider a change in organization proposal filed by Leonard Holmes of California and the FMC Corporation with the Alameda Local Agency for Mitigation Commission on behalf of 2 landowners to annex approximately 57.5 acres of territory located within the city of Newark to the Union Sanitary District. The affected territory is within USD sphere of influence and includes 297 parcels. The purpose of the proposal is to facilitate the planned development of 768 single and multifamily residential units through public wastewater services.
Thank you, Chair. So as Commissioner Chair Wieskamp stated, the affected territory comprises of 297 parcels and would facilitate the development of 768 single and multifamily residential units that is consistent with the tentative maps approved by the City of Newark through its adopted Dumbarton Transit-Oriented Development Specific Plan. Union Sanitary District agrees with the annexation and determines that it has the capacity to support the planned development. Additionally, the affected territory lies, as stated, entirely within Union Sanitary District's sphere of influence, and the timing of the change of organization aligns with the City of Newark's land use policies in a manner that reflect available capacities and infrastructure. Staff did not find any potential amendments to the proposal to modify the physical boundary. The protest proceedings for change of organization may be waived by Alameda LAFCO under Government Code Section 56662, given that the affected territory is uninhabited and the subject landowners have provided their written consent to the underlying proceedings. Lastly, the City of Newark serves as the lead agency for assessing potential impacts of the proposal under CEQA and has determined it is a project that will have significant impacts on the environment. The city, however, has provided mitigation measures and a statement of overriding considerations, which staff independently concurs that the city has made the appropriate determinations. Staff recommends the Commission adopt the draft resolution approving the annexation of the Bayside Newark project to Union Sanitary District, and staff would like to return the item to the Chair for Commission discussion and or any questions for the Executive Officer or for the developer who's in the audience right now, and then to open the public hearing.
Thank you. All right, is there any question or discussion item on this one? No one in the audience seems eager to speak at this moment, so if you care to come forward, that's fine. Sure. Okay. Well,
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the Commission. My name is Don Barnett, Lennar Homes. We're here just to answer any questions and
okay. We'll see if there are any questions. Anyone? Or comments? The item has been moved by Commissioner Haggerty.
Excuse me, Chair, to open the public hearing.
So that was,
That was it.
Oh, that was.
so I'll move to close the public hearing.
Thank you.
Okay.
And then I'll move approval.
I'll second.
We're moving this right along, but thank you for your brief comments. No questions? Yes, sir.
I have one question.
Okay.
It really concerns the concern that I have about climate change and the rising level of bay waters. And I know that there was some discussion about that and the fact that the property is planned to be elevated. My question kind of is, how old are the studies and reports that the environmental impact report based its conclusions that this property will be above the mean high tide level of the bay in the future? And have we really adequately addressed that issue? It seems to me that this is everything is changing. The reports that I read say that it's rather than being slow as far as the change and rise, it's increasing. And this is probably the first major Bayside development that could be impacted by climate change. And I'd like to really feel more comfortable about the fact that this project has adequately addressed those issues.
All right,
Excuse me, could you press the button to turn the mic on,
The green
please?
one? Can you hear me now? No. I'll give you my understanding of the situation. We also have representatives of our civil engineer here. So the entire area is being filled approximately 4 to 5 feet, which is above the current floodplain level. Also, FEMA is in the process of studying the whole Bayshore area and looking at remapping certain sections because of climate change and sea level rise. And my understanding is that our property is above that new proposed level. So I do think that hasn't been taken into account at this site.
That's correct.
Do you need any further information, Commissioner? Okay.
Thank you.
So you feel that you're meeting the guidelines?
Yeah, I think we're meeting and exceeding
Exceeding
the
that.
studies for the future of climate change and sea level rise.
All right, thank you very much.
Where will Phil come from?
That's a good question.
All right, well, that's a follow-up question.
It's coming from different areas. For our site, it's coming from properties we own in other areas. Some of it actually came from Dublin. Some is coming from Scotts Valley. So different sources.
Okay, well, I'm sure it will be.
Is this property built on fill right now? Is it on big fill? I mean, was it?
Why don't we ask the other gentleman to
Okay.
go forward then, where there's a microphone?
Just want to remind commissioners to please turn your microphone on when you're speaking.
Good evening. Hello, everyone. I'm Mark Butler with Integral Communities. We were the master developer and got involved in the project in 2009, and we're responsible for the entitlements. The question was regarding
Is the existing property built on Bayfield? Is that field?
this particular property is actually not on fill. It's upland property. In fact, they used to refer to this property as the hill parcel. It was owned by Cargill. It was actually it's an old top of a ridge. And so some of the fill came from just regrading that ridge and filling with native, but it's not fill.
So it's not over pavement?
No.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. Anyone else? All right, we have a motion and a second. Further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. The next is the adoption of the final work plan and budget for 2019-2020. This is a public hearing. Commission will consider adopting the final work plan and budget for 2019-2020. Both items return following their adoption in draft form, subsequent public review. The final work plan and budget remain intact from its initial draft. The final budget expenses total $793,880 and represents a decrease of $2,964 or 4% from the current fiscal year with the adjustments tied in services and supplies and resources. What a long sentence. Okay, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Chair. So the proposed operating revenues match operating expenses and is covered by drawing down the reserves consistent with the practice to offset sizable increases to agency contributions. Notable adjustments in expenses can be attributed to the salaries and benefits unit that sees a 2.5% increase due to LAFCO's own classifications with the County Civil Service Commission and succession planning of the commission clerk and LAFCO analyst. The services and supplies unit will see a 17.5% decrease that can be attributed to the reduction in legal services by $10,000 and planning services by $20,000 based on recent trends and demands. Lastly, the internal service charges unit will see an 87.5% increase over the next fiscal year to account for any office-based changes as a result of LAFCO's MOU negotiations with the county. Accompanying the final budget is a final work plan that outlines 26 specific projects divided between statutory and administrative duties. The majority of the projects are new, with several remaining items continued from the current and previous fiscal years. Each project ranges from a high, moderate to low urgency and include the MOU update with the County of Alameda, informational report on joint powers authorities, and new LAFCO agency logo. And I'd just like to point out too that for the budget, we are forecasting for the succession plan of the commission clerk and LAFCO analyst. And if any of, we're also funding for a hybrid of an analyst clerk to shadow perhaps the commission clerk and analyst during the last 6 months of their positions. But that job position of the analyst / clerk would have to be approved by the commission. And that I would expect probably in September. And staff recommends to the commission to adopt the draft resolution approving the final budget and work plan for this fiscal year, and will follow with the county auditor's office sending member agency apportionments to all of LAFCO's funding agencies thereafter. And staff would like to return the item to the chair for commission discussion or any questions, and then to open the public hearing.
All right. Do we have any questions? Commissioner Haggerty?
Yeah.
Can you turn your microphone on?
This is where I was earlier today. So as I understand this, and hopefully I'm right, but as I understand this, the position, the shadow position, that is the only new employee that you're looking at right now?
That is absolutely correct.
Okay, because the other two are already existing. So the shadow employee comes in in the last 6 months to kind of get the feel as kind of a succession planning type thing?
Yes,
And you'll bring that back to the commission before you start doing that?
absolutely.
Okay, any other questions? Motion? Okay, with that, I'll open the public hearing. Is there anyone who'd like to speak on this item? No? All right, then I will close the public hearing and open for discussion. Mark, a motion.
So,
Motion made by Kiko, seconded by Haggerty. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Legislative report. The commission will receive an update from the legislative committee as it relates to the proposals impacting this commission.
Thank you, Chair. So Cal LAFCO has requested a call for action to support Assembly Bill 1822 that would define a municipal service review and also make further improvements in streamlining existing out-of-area service agreement statutes. Right now, they're kind of jumbled all along within the Cortesian Outskirts Act of 2000, so I believe it would condense them and put them all in one place. One bill to watch is Assembly Bill 1389, sponsored by Assemblymember Eggman, that would mitigate any lost revenues should a special district activate its latent powers to any other affected local agencies through payments of taxes and or fees as a result of the new service being provided. And I've been told that this might specifically be in response for, let's say, special districts providing broadband services. And lastly, Cal LAFCO is working to simplify its protest proceedings with establishing a standard threshold of landowner and registered voter consent in regards to written protests on proposals. And a potential bill is expected to be presented by the year 2020. And Cal LAFCO has organized an ad hoc committee, and their first meeting, I believe, will be held on May 30th in Sacramento. So staff recommends support of AB 1822 and authorize the executive officer to issue a letter to the author. And any commission and feedback and discussion is welcome, and I will return the item to the chair.
Okay. Any comments or questions or recommendation? Move it. All right. Motion made by Haggerty, seconded by Johnson. Everybody has reviewed the letter. Assume that is acceptable. All right. Then the motion fair. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. The next item is a memo of understanding with the County of Alameda. The Commission will receive an update on progress to date between the Alameda Local Agency Formation Commission and the County of Alameda in regards to this memo of understanding for administrative and support services set to expire on June 30th.
Thank you, Chair. So the MOU Advisory Committee and the County of Alameda have agreed to the overall terms outlined in its draft MOU and expects an agreement ready for Commission approval at Alameda LAFCO's special meeting to be scheduled for May 29th of this year. Notable changes to the existing MOU are that county employees will have a LAFCO-specific job description developed by the county in consultation with LAFCO and approval by the county's Civil Service Commission. Another note, LAFCO staff may not be removed, replaced, or changed without communication with the commission. LAFCO will have its own business unit within the county financial management system that will allow for easier processing of invoices. And the county will provide LAFCO with office space separate from county agencies or departments, but located within a county-owned building or leased facility. One ideal location is a space in Hayward at the Community Development Agency office. And this would allow for the county administrator's office to recruit and seek staff at their space, which is right now a little cramped with people sharing, more than one person sharing an office space, so that will allow them to expand. And while also allowing LAFCO to have its own designated space as a public-facing entity. And it would provide clear direction, the overall MOU would provide clear direction on the organizational structure. So that would mean that it clearly states the EO it would be reporting directly to the commission on LAFCO considerations and policy matters, and to the county administrator on personnel. Staff would also be happy, I'll return the item to the commission, but staff would be happy to answer any questions. And also please note that the county administrator representative, Joni Patillo, is also in the audience as well to provide any feedback on the county's position.
Okay. I keep finding you from behind the podium. Welcome. Would you like to add anything at this time?
Yes, I'd like to get probably just additional clarification.
It's like old home week coming back here.
It is, it's almost like deja vu. So one of the things too that I just wanted to get clarified, just for the record, is that the discussion about moving the office space was really a driver from one of the conditions of LAFCO. They want it now outward facing. And secondarily, there were some compaction issues, but it was not something that was brought up initially by the county. It was brought up by LAFCO. I want that as a clarification because some of the drivers associated with the increases in rental are based on that desire to be forward facing. So just a clarification because it doesn't tell the full story.
Okay.
That was it.
That's fine.
The other thing too is, though we talked a little bit about this as far as item number 2, there may be cases that action needs to be taken on a county employee that's designated for LAFCO, that there may not be prior consultation. We're working through all those elements, and those conditions are far and few between, but I just want to make sure that we're being very forward, speaking on this matter. There wouldn't be anything that the county administrator designee would do without careful thought and process, and we would do everything possible to make sure that the commission would know that there are cases. We talked about this at the last time. So I want those things clarified when it comes down to, it was one of the requests of LAFCO in starting the LAFCO discussions that space was imperative for them.
All right, I think that's understood. Do you think we will be ready by the May 29th special meeting?
I think that there's only probably just slight tweaks that need to happen. One of the discussion pieces is that the county administrator will have overarching responsibility for the administrative components of the MOU as well as the operations of LAFCO, as stated in the MOU. But the designation, because of the location change, is the day-to-day management as far as approval of leave slips and all that kind of stuff will be done by community development.
Okay. All right, questions? Anyone? All right, thank you so much for being here. Do I have a motion?
What's the motion?
This is information.
Just information? We can't do anything, all right.
And for feedback.
I guess I would like to be sure of the date. Are we going to go ahead and say that that is the date that we're going to come back for this? Because that's the only item, right?
Yes, so May 29th, I want to say that's a Wednesday, but May 29th at 2 o'clock.
Is there any problem with any commissioner on that date? Okay.
I'll be here in place, it's fine.
Okay. So with that in mind, that we will be coming back for the action on this item on that day, May 29th, all the commissioners seem to feel we will have a quorum here for sure. Thank you for all your work. I appreciate that. Commissioner Haggerty.
Is that the only item on the agenda?
I believe so.
You turned your mic off. You turned
Unless
it off.
something-
Turn it off?
Yeah.
Yes,
Is that the only item on the agenda?
yes, that would be the only item on the
How
agenda.
long do you anticipate that item to take?
I would hope no more than 30 minutes, but you know.
I'm coming out of Sacramento, and I
Okay.
need to know if it's.
You want us to change the date, time a little
It
later?
works for everybody else, it's fine.
Okay.
Maybe Nate will show up.
Okay. I doubt if it'll even take that long, but maybe I'm just an optimist.
Do you
Okay.
have to have a county member here to take that action?
We would to have a quorum.
I'll tell you what, if you feel like neither of you can be here, let us know and we'll change the date. Okay?
Well, we also have Commissioner Valle as an alternate, possibly he could.
Yeah, there you go.
We'll check,
Okay, no, I appreciate that.
we'll double check and confirm and send a notice out.
Okay, that's good. Okay, the next item, which I tried to carry earlier, the nomination and election of chair and vice chair as set forth in the commission's policies and procedures guidelines. So,
Is this a rotating thing?
it is a rotating.
And what's, is it the county or?
I believe next is the county member to be appointed as chair, and I would love to hear a nomination for vice chair. I don't think we have that at that moment.
Okay. And is that supposed to be,
The chair would be Commissioner Haggerty,
yes,
and vice chair, it would, I believe, would be determined by the commission if anyone wants to put forth the nomination.
but is it supposed to be from one of the categories
Yeah.
specifically? Which one?
A public member.
All right, a public
How
one.
about nominate Slim?
Split it, I second split.
Okay, nominations have been made for Chair Haggerty, for Vice Chair Flynn. Okay, any other nominations? All those in favor? Opposed? Well, the gentlemen aren't here, but we're sure that will be fine with them. They have no choice. Well, you're right. One gentleman is not here. The other one is definitely here. We know that, whether his mic is on or not. Okay, anybody have an item to bring up?
I'd like to commend the Chair, please thank for splendid work as chair of the
Oh,
commission.
this is such a fun group here. And we only meet every other month, how can you argue with that? Now, I think LAFCO is just one of the more interesting jobs I've ever had, that nobody seems to really know us, what we're doing. I think it's a vital role.
Sometimes we actually do.
It's a mystery to everybody. All right.
I'm trying to get to the agenda, but I'm not sure what's going on.
Yes.
I've already talked with Rachel and I've already mentioned it to you, but someone through the Special Districts Association
Your mic?
Yeah, everybody turn your mics on.
had an opportunity to meet with, to see someone from the Alameda City Special Districts, Special District. They believe they have been merged into the county and no longer are a special district. So I thought it would be wise for Rachel to actually look at that and find out if they have really indeed been dissolved and it just missed us. Alameda City Healthcare District.
Well, I think it would be good for somebody to call and check it out. I have no idea.
Is this a member of the public or is it a member of their board?
It was a member of it was a member of the staff. Nobody seems to be able to get a hold of a member of the board. There's nothing on their website. So I just thought it'd be important for Rachel to see what it is, what's happening.
So what is it now?
Alameda City Healthcare District believes it's dissolved.
They were merged into the AHS, I know that. The
Okay.
hospital in Alameda? Yeah, they were. I mean, I'd love
But
them
we
to.
didn't dissolve.
They can take them back because it's just costing us a bunch of money.
Well, my point being is they didn't officially dissolve through us.
I'll take a look and
Why
I'll
don't we
follow up with
get
you. Thank you,
clarification
Dr.
on what
I
happened?
hope that's true.
You just raised the spirits of Commissioner Haggerty
They're
here.
very happy.
Okay.
Just closed a bunch of deficit.
Any other matters by any other commissioners? All right, there were some informational items. Any question about any of those? Notification of the conference in November in Sacramento. And we've already talked about the special meeting that's coming up May 29th at 2 p.m. at this location. Do we have any idea how long we'll be at this location? Or I think I know who's going to be able to give us information. Georgine?
The report we got Tuesday night was the building isn't going to be ready till January.
Oh, wow. That's good to know.
My goodness.
Yes.
Well,
So, I knew that I was coming here.
yeah.
I knew where I was supposed to go, but I drove there. And it's a ghost town, nothing's going on. It's just locked up.
I think they were doing the opportunity to redesign some things,
Yes,
so it's more
and
than
actually, what the holdup has been is they were arguing with our insurance adjuster as to who should pay for the breakup of the foundation, the reinstitution of dirt, and then the new foundation. And we've gotten past that now, so hopefully it can move forward. But yes, we're taking the opportunity, the building's 29 years old, nothing's ever been done, to redesign some things.